welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, for the dear sweet lady that sent me this hat, and she sent me another one, thank you so much. I've had this for a while, and I'm cleaning up and organizing, and I went, oh, there those are. I love this. I love it. It's the first time I really got to wear it, and I love it. Thank you so much. Y'all are so sweet. Remember, guys, give me a hug. Woo. Welcome back to the channel. You guys never have to send me anything. I tell you that over and over, but some of you still do. You'll send a t-shirt, or I've got some really cute t-shirts, and you know, a couple of hats and little things like that. Just thank you so much, okay? So I just want you to know I recognize that and appreciate that, but I'm always telling you, I really want you to spend your time and your money on yourself, bettering yourself and being prepared, and that form of preparedness comes in a lot of different ways. So, if it gets windy, I apologize. We have tornado warnings not too far from here. It's going to be in Anderson County, going down near Oliver Springs, which is in Anderson County, Oak Ridge, Knox County, not too far from me here. So it's windy. The weather is really, really weird. It's not really normal for East Tennessee to see tornadoes in the first week of September. Just not normal. Usually we're obviously around Labor Day time. It's still really hot. You might get some rain. We got some horrendous, much needed, unfortunately, as you can see. We got a lot of rain last night, made for a messy, messy, messy morning dealing with all the animals. So I kept a few of them kind of separated and away. Oh gosh, look at all this mud, y'all. But so very, very busy, but the next week is supposed to be really, really nice. So if you have a break in really nice, warm, or decent weather times between now and winter, I highly recommend you keep up with the weather and look at your schedule and get ahead on anything that you can. Because the idea here in terms of preparedness is adapting. You have to change and adapt to overcome. And I see that as, you know, in mine too, kinda, but I think we're all struggling with that. I think that's really something that needs to be discussed. And I've kind of tried to touch on that on a couple of videos lately. And some people just can't get there. And I can't make you. And maybe you're not meant to see things yet or experience things in a certain way. And your journey is just going to have to be what it is, right? And I feel like I've had a lot of life changes over the last 6 months to a year. I've shared a lot of them with you. And that journey continues, okay? All right? And, you know, it's a lot of things that you already knew, and I certainly already knew. But change is hard, okay? People, things, politics, circumstances, folks, as people will say, we're not going back to normal, right? But, you know, we're not going back. Jesus is coming back. And we could get into a lot of debates about all the journeys that we're going to go through in that process. I think the first step in being successful in that, besides obviously repenting and loving Jesus and accepting him into your life and your heart, and, you know, recognizing that he is King of Kings, right? He is the Savior. But then you start to, once you get there, it's like it rocks your world in terms of what are we watching change around us in the time frame in which we are living. You know, I think about this from an ancestral point of view sometimes, you know, and it depends upon your time frame. Think about over the last 250, 300 years, different stages and different things that your grandparents at different times, they might have been in Scotland. They might have been just over the mountain here. I mean, it just depends upon the situation. But they saw lots of different changes. And I think we are currently, right now, in one of those phases. And so we tend to try to buck it. Because what you grew up with, what you knew, what your mama knew, what you were taught. Now, I do believe in the fundamental staples of life. They're forever real. They're forever here. You know, what is that? Well, faith, family, faith, God, country, good food, the old ways. Those typically don't ever really change, but there can be elements within that that do, right? For example, a lot of people right now are coming to the realization of how unbelievably poisoned our food is. And again, I just said this the other day. I'm going to sound like a broken record. I think you know that. I think you know that. But there's and I do, and I did too. But like I said, and I'm going to keep saying, in case you've never heard this, until you start experiencing what that's doing to you, I don't think people get motivated enough to try to do as much as they can in order to take back control of their lives. And to me right now, this is the ultimate form of preparedness. So let's just cut to the chase. Somebody's going to think I'm being a smart aleck, but I'm not. My focus right now is a little different. Folks, let me just say it like it is. The world is hurt. The world is upside down. You have been horribly lied to over the last 5 years about health scenarios, and a lot of people were tricked into or forced to do things that fundamentally they didn't believe in, and they did it anyway. There are still people that believe in some of this stuff, but there's some people out there that are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs too. We're watching a mental health crisis melt down a large portion of the world. You are watching people lost in every aspect of life, okay? Because social media has completely gotten away with lying to you, making you think all kinds of things. What is real, what is truth anymore, and that's not changing, that's not going away, that's actually getting worse. The dollar is in a crisis. Gold is majorly up. Silver is bouncing up. I would say we could technically at some point soon in the next couple of years be in a food crisis. Just because of the things several things. Money. We've watched inflation absolutely kill small farms. We watched COVID and inflation, all kind of in the same demonic workings there. Absolutely kill a lot of jobs, small farms, and homesteads. Okay. For example, I can tell you that from a personal perspective. Am I offering eggs to the general public like I once did? No. No. I kind of retracted into going back to the idea of I'm going to do what I can do for myself. It's about survival mode, what I can afford to do, and take care of those closest around me. You put that on a grand scale, you're not going to have the availability of fresh, homegrown, organic foods. So if you don't grow them yourself, if you don't have the flock yourself, you may be losing some of your resources. Now, can you go to the grocery store and buy eggs today? Well, of course you can. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say. And no, eggs are not what they were, back 6 months ago, okay? And I am going to do an inflation report for you from Aldi. I'm not telling you to go to Aldi. I'm not telling you to buy what I have a report on. I always tell you that. It's just to keep up with prices. And I found my sweet notebook, so we're going to get on that. But folks, you've got to save your sanity. Okay? You've got to save your sanity. And I think you need to pull back from absolutely doom searching every single day for somebody to rock your world. I think people are addicted to that. And I've gotten to a point where I said, I see things for what they are. You hear that thunder way over there in the distance? Yeah. I'm seeing things I feel the veil, it has thinned, as a lot of you will put it, okay? And I finally said, I have to approach this differently, okay? Enough of this going back and forth over the last 5 to 10 years of what are we eating, what are we doing, what is acceptable, what is not, what is real, what is not. It's this. Maybe it's age. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit of an empty nester. I'm still homesteading. Absolutely. I encourage you to. I encourage you to grow your own food. I took this year off. It's the first time in 15 years that I took my own little Jubilee year, okay? And I'm so thankful I did that. Somebody asked me the other day, if I felt like the gardening that I've done over the years was a major stressor. No, the gardening was wonderful, absolute therapy. The fight with what's happening environmentally and with our weather is what is so stressful. So how do you deal with that? Well, first you have to accept the reality that we're in. And what can you do to help yourself? I believe in backups for backups, okay? So you know that if you've watched my channel at least for the last 3 to 5 years in terms of all the preparedness we've talked about, you better try to do your best as best you can with what you can do and grow on that, but always have a backup, okay? That's never changed. But I'm telling you right now, the stress and the refusal to recognize what is happening is what is holding a lot of people back, okay? So no, I'm not going to come on here every day and give you a stock market report and tell you what gold is doing, which there's nothing wrong with that because I look at it, several times a week. And I like to know where we are so that I can continue to push forward. Right now, the season that I am in is recognizing what has happened to us. That may not be where you are right now, but I really invite you to jump on that train because if you can't get yourself right mentally and emotionally, how are you going to prepare yourself for? I see these reports and these newer videos that have come out just over the last week, 7 to 10 days. They get recommended to me about fearing the next Great Depression. And I'm like, where you been? Personally, I believe we're being propped up. And I think you should take advantage of this time. That doesn't mean you stop what you're doing. Because somebody will say, are you not homesteading anymore? You want to come sit with me tomorrow morning and watch me pull things out of the mud? I just didn't take the time to film it today. I mean, I kind of feel like you've seen that. I'm not currently milking a dairy animal. And I have made the decision, I've got that new buck coming and I really, really, really want raw milk. But I've looked at the persimmons. I've looked at the Farmer's Almanac. I've listened to what you're hearing and seeing. And common sense would dictate to me that if I bred my goats right now, I would have, little goaty kids somewhere probably by the end of January. Considering the last several winters that we've had, I would be probably half stupid to do that. And I'll be full-blown stupid because I know what that's going to be like, okay? And I know how traumatic it is to have goat kids in the middle of winter, and I prefer not. So I finally said, hold back, baby. Hold back. You got other things to tend to. Maybe you can breed your girls in 2 months and at least push yourself up into at least around St. Patrick's Day or something. That makes more sense, Patara. So what makes more sense to you? Do you need people to tell you day in, day out? There's nothing wrong with it. If you don't know things, I want you to find them out. Don't stick your head in the sand. Do you need people to tell you that AI is taking over jobs? I mean, how many times do we need to tell ourselves that until you finally go, wow, do you need it for something from AI to come up and bite you on the right butt cheek? Some people need that. Okay. Do I think inflation's gone away? No, not really. I'm going to do the inflation report, but I see what people are paying for certain staples. This is again why I'm trying to encourage people to look at their diet and to go, I'm telling you, if you can get it down to the bare bones of really good proteins and healthy carbs, if you can have them, blah, blah, let's not argue little things here, and cut out a bunch of crap, what are you spending all of your money on? I mean, some people will literally write out the very basics and that's about all they can do. But then I go, well, you know what? If the best you can do is a couple pounds of hamburger and some eggs every week and cheese and cottage cheese and a couple of fresh apples and fruit and stuff like that, don't be mad at that. Maybe God is doing you a massive favor. Think about that. I want you to try to find the silver lining. Because to me, well, that's the way I'm choosing to eat. That's the way my husband is choosing to eat. And it's working really well for us. So instead of being nasty about it or resentful about it, maybe God's pulled you in for something else bigger in the future. We need some strong people. So I'm trying to encourage people at this point, and I've always tried to encourage you, I do think you need to be prepared. I think you should be always being ready. You need to be ready for, quote, winter, a dark winter. Because that can come in many different forms. But I've also seen, again, and I know this is broken record, but I've also seen the stress that you have endured and you're still enduring. And you know, if you keep living this way, and I'm not saying to go on a cruise. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying the energy that you're putting in to a lot of negative things could be positive time that you spend on yourself, on regrouping, on getting stronger, on getting more fit, on understanding your diet, on helping your spouse, on saving your children, building a better community or church group, walking closer to God. So when people say to me, are you not preparing anymore? I don't think you understand what preparing is. Preparing is not just Spam and Beanie Weenies and Dinty Moore on the shelf. That's a bunch of crap. You might be able to eat a couple days longer than everybody else, but truly, honestly, can you and your spouse and you and your family endure? Maybe it's not a full-blown crisis, but the stress alone. I've seen what a health crisis can do to a middle-aged, very healthy man. And I'm not going to go into details of things that I've seen that my husband had to endure, which are horrific. But it's enough for me to go, no, we're not going to go back to that. Because if we don't pull it together and this all hits again or something hits again, and even if it's not for another 5 years, I want to build on the next 5 years. What if I have a grandbaby in the next 5 years? It's not currently the situation. I know all of y'all get excited because you know I want grandbabies so bad. But I mean, for real, I want to be a lean, mean, fighting machine. What was her name? Sarah. I want to be like, what was her name? Sarah Connor on Terminator. Yeah. You come after my grandbaby. You come on. That's my goal. I pray to God every day that doesn't happen. But I'm trying to encourage people to see their purpose. And my purpose right now is saving my family tree. I said that in the last video. So, what is a homesteader? I'm tired of these stupid debates. I dropped all that hot mess so many years ago. You know, in some ways, there's one or two or three positives that kind of came with the crisis of COVID. I know that sounds bizarre to you, but it forced people in some ways to realize a lot of the things that we may have been fighting about or prior to were really dumb. Like, do you really care what essential oils I use versus what essential oils you can or cannot use? I mean, that whole debate, how stupid is that? Women used to, just like this whole thing with leggings. I'm just giving you my opinion about leggings not because I'm trying to get you to hate leggings. I just told you that I think it's the most torturous thing I've ever put. I'd rather wear a corset. Okay? And I don't want certain women out there that are like, there's a lot of people, men and women, young people especially, they feel like they have to do things because that's what social media is telling them to do. You know, it's sort of like that whole thing of them making you feel like you have to go poke in your arm, right? And then you fast forward 3 to 5 years, and how's your health hanging out? Yours might be okay, but I know a lot of people that didn't turn out so hot with that pressure. So I'm trying to get people to go, whoa, no, whoa. I'm going to back it on up against the privet here. It may be a holly bush. But I want you to have the confidence to go, it's time for me to pull and regroup. It's time for me to do what works best for me. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm not surrendering my soul or my sanity to Satan. You have to take control of that. I had to take control of that. Didn't take the Spam off my shelf. I'm looking at a cow right now. She's as happy as can be. She's about 15 feet in front of me. She ain't worried about nothing. I still had to go feed all my goats today. I still have all my chickens. I still plan to garden next year. I got plenty of firewood for winter, ready to roll. But there are times that we have to purge the negativity out and regroup. And I think right now is the best time for you to do that. If you just cut crap out of your diet, if you just walk a couple of times a week, you turn off the social media and the TV by 9 o'clock at night, spend a little bit more time with the grandkids, get up tomorrow morning. Look at changing your schedule just a little bit. Maybe get up 30 minutes earlier. Don't turn on your phone or your laptop. Don't turn on the TV. Make your bed. Start the coffee, drink some water, get your shower. Take care of yourself. Raise the rent on yourself. You are very valuable. Young people need us, folks. Young people need us. I'm old enough to say that, okay? When I can talk about it, I'm definitely old enough to be a mamaw. I'm going to say it right now. I'm telling you right now. These young people, a lot of them are way, way lost. And if we don't regroup in this time frame, what's the next major crisis going to look like? Maybe it'll hit tomorrow. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? It may not hit till 2032. Well, you know what? Let's get moving now. Because if we get meaner and leaner and better and smarter and more charged now, man, we're going to be an unstoppable force by then. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a heck of a goal. So you have to accept the fact that things have changed. I didn't say to like them. I'm not saying to accept them in the idea that you think they're okay. But you also have to get in with reality. We're not going back. We ain't going back, folks. Sorry to burst your bubble. Some of you out there, I love you like a little pig. That's a compliment. You're trying to hang on to things that are no longer there. And I can give examples, but I'm not going to start debating them either. And we don't have time for that. If you want to maintain your heritage, stop looking for other people, things, and corporations to do that for you. I just said that like that. That's what makes me upset about this, is I'm like, we have to do it. Do I think overall that's going to happen? Probably not. But I'm going to try. And the first thing that I have to do is make sure that we are here, and here doing better. And that's what I want to do for you. If I can encourage you to do anything, this would be it right now, because this is the time. Like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. I'm getting a message from my sweetie pie. He's on his way home. And guess what? Guess what? We're going to the gym. It's like a hot, saucy, spicy date. 5 nights a week for me. And I'm loving it, okay? I'm loving it. He's pumping out those extra bench presses lately. And I'm like, whoa, what you doing? See? It's all good. Make it count. Like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. I love you. Love you like a little pig. You're my little pig. And I'll see you on the next video.